Will Bitcoin be overthrown by XRP is, in my opinion, in a really important position at the moment. And I don't mean that negatively when I say crucial position. No, I mean it in the sense that XRP occupies a place in this market that no other ancient coin can match. The reason for this is because institutional DeFi projects are now heavily marketing XRP to institutional players. First place. Second, due to numerous tokenization efforts that Ripple is promoting, tokenization on the XRP ledger is beginning to pick up steam. Furthermore, we currently know that Ripple has more than 1,700 NDAs to access blockchain-based activities and payments, which implies we return to XRP and the XRPL. Along with the fact that XRP usage is only increasing, we also know that XRP has clear regulations. We take a close look at recent developments, such as the acquisition of Hidden Road from Ripple Roused. Given its critical position, XRP has the potential to completely dominate this market, and I believe it will, particularly in the future as more and more regulatory discussions about cryptocurrencies begin to take shape and become more real, which will only help cryptocurrencies like XRP. Thus, let's actually discuss this a little bit. This is from Smoke Dog. Recall that XRP can overtake Bitcoin with just the 20x. WisdomTree has documented this. Now, a 20x, when we reach XRP's level, is not a simple accomplishment, is it? It's a little difficult, but we must equal the market. Capitalization of Bitcoin. The price of XRP would have to rise by more than 20 times from where it is now. This enormous obstacle highlights Bitcoin's firmly established supremacy and distinctive worth. In addition to outlining transaction speed and throughput, they also discuss the future. Therefore, revolutionary changes would be necessary for XRP to compete with Bitcoin's 1.9 trillion market capitalization. First, widespread adoption. The use of XRP for remittances, payments, and other purposes must increase significantly. More institutional investment may be attracted by clear and advantageous laws. Market mood, a wider shift away from Bitcoin and toward altcoins, ecosystem growth, new alliances and innovations, and expanding XRP's use beyond payments. Of fact, that is undoubtedly possible throughout alt season. Although broad adoption of XRP in particular may still be a ways off, I do believe that we will gain regulatory clarification in the run-up to alt season. The ecosystem is undoubtedly growing. I doubt I even need to mention that to you all. You've probably noticed that Ripple has been releasing a lot of updates over the past few weeks, and they pretty much tell us everything we need to know about XRP's future. However, aside from that, we also have Digital Asset Investor here, which kind of supports my ideas about regulations, the Bitcoin regulatory monopoly, and the introduction of a utility market for the first time. The supremacy of Bitcoin may end sooner than people anticipate. Indeed, it can. We actually saw it happen back in 2021, going from over 70% to 40% in around 4 or 6 weeks. Yes, it moved so quickly. And even now, when we consider market dominance and the potential shift that could occur at any time, you know that outdated currencies could easily take center stage. However, it just takes a single, significant news regarding XRP to cause it to suddenly rally against Bitcoin and eventually challenge its supremacy. In addition, I wrote in January of this year that if you think the Bitcoin maxes are sobbing right now, just think of what they will do when the following occurs. After approval, XRP ETFs start trading. Once more, XRP overturns Ethereum. Because SAP 121 was abolished, banks now use Ripple's custody solution for a variety of use cases, including tokenization. Furthermore, we are aware that the OC did authorize crypto. Crypto was approved by the FDIC. Crypto was even approved by the Fed. U.S. banks have declared their intention to use XRP. In order to rally against and possibly overtake Bitcoin, XRP is starting to open a route. For a volatile asset such as Bitcoin, Utility becomes the primary driver of value, demonstrating the absurdity of the store value claim. Maxis is free to keep making unfounded accusations. But throughout time, this area has seen significant transformation, which strengthens the utilitarian narrative. The timeline's depiction of fear, hate, and envy provides all the evidence you need to comprehend what is occurring and what is to come. Take pleasure in the performance. And yes, I still firmly believe that to be the case. It's game over once the XRP ETFs are approved. XRP flips Ethereum, in my opinion. In addition, I believe that banks are beginning to step in and make significant announcements, and that XRP is beginning to rise sharply outside of that. It's possible that we may even see a significant rally against Bitcoin. Given that some of these factors seem to be ideal for XRP, that will be a really chaotic time to concentrate on it. Now, how long will this take? Actually, we don't have one. However, one thing is very clear. Certain Ripple players, like Monica Long, have shown us that they do already have a sizable number of institutional players tapping in. According to Monica Long, Ripple custody banking partners use their services to tokenize real-world assets and provide them with advice on their go-to-market strategy. She says that the payments industry will remain the backbone of all financial services in the chain. Take a look at this. Therefore, the opportunity is present and things are coming together. The other thing that excites me, I would say, is that when we speak with our bank clients that use custody, they genuinely want us to be their advisor or partner when they consider tokenizing their real-world assets. Yes, it is currently the most talked about topic. Well, but all those applications payments are the cornerstone of every kind of transaction. So if you plan to trade tokens and buy them all, you'll need the infrastructure to generate liquidity, and later settlement to transfer the assets between accounts. Therefore, I believe that our built-in payment features are quite fundamental for a wide range of use cases that a financial institution would, pursue. Indeed, it is now, and let me tell you, one of the main things I have been concentrating on is that institutional players are beginning to show more interest in the specific issues surrounding Ripple, such as payments or custody, which are all rushing into tokenization. All of this is leading to the tokenization of pretty much everything, which, isn't limited to Ethereum. No, the XRP ledger is where it's taking place. Regarding tokenization efforts, we are aware that Ripple is fully integrated into the XRP ledger, which brings me full circle to the 1,700 NDAs, correct? More than 1,700 NDAs have been signed by Ripple. Tokenization is already being developed on Ripple by more than 1,700 financial leaders. The fundamental component is XRP. You're ahead of schedule if you comprehend it. You're ready if you're holding it. That survey is now available. There will always be tokenization. 72% of the more than 1,700 finance executives who participated in Ripple's most recent global survey said they want to investigate tokenization within the next 3 years, confirming the technology's position as a key component of innovation. Blockchain's advantages can give companies the adaptability they need to take advantage of shifting market dynamics and gain access to a wider range of asset classes. What's odd about this is that it does, in fact, completely match the 1,700 contracts listed in the lawsuit docs. Furthermore, you believe that the 1,100 financial executives they spoke with were really a coincidence that coincidentally matched the 1,700 contracts exactly. I don't think so. Additionally, they are 1,700 XRP contracts. In particular, they refer to them as 1,700 XRP contracts. This is really important. In addition to that, we now move on to this Bloomberg video clip. This is the CEO of Tukim. Everything is essentially being tokenized by Ripple with XRP. This is the initial phase of combining DeFi and trade finance. It's a breakthrough. On XRP, everything will tokenize. This brings to mind the CEO of Archix discussing tokenization on the XRP ledger. Do any of you recall the one when he discussed between 30 and 50 trillion on the XRP ledger throughout RX? That's a strange statement, to be sure, but it is conceivable. Given that he stated that it will occur before the end of this year, his timeline was rather distorted. Although I don't believe it will occur, I do believe that the first trillion hit on the chain will occur very soon. Starting from that point on, we scale to the tens of billions of dollars pretty quickly, and I'm definitely focused on that, and thrilled to see it come to pass. But make sure to take a quick look at this. The sole use case for Ripple and some of these other tokens out there is speculation, which is why you suggested it. Many people watching would likely respond in that way. What is the real purpose of XRP then? Alright, so XRP, that isn't true at all. Since it's trading and out there, you can speculate, but XRP founded Ripple and I won't speak for them, okay? However, they founded Ripple in order to make transactions and money transfers easier. Alright? However, as they work on their Level 2 build-out, it is now actually aiding in the tokenization of everything. Everything will actually be tokenized by them. As you may be aware, they recently purchased a broker-dealer clearing member. And that, in my opinion, is the first step in combining DeFi with traditional finance. And this is going to be a breakthrough, I assure you. Though it will take longer than people anticipate, it is a breakthrough. All right. Thus, the 2x naturally, when he talks about them tokenizing everything, this is in line with Archix's ultimate objective with the XRP ledger, which was to effectively forecast the tokenization of a majority of things. The XRP ledger contains between $30 and $50 trillion. That is a crazy claim. Therefore, if both of these propositions are true, then it could fully align when we consider this. We were able to observe what actually transpired over the next, I don't want to say 12 months. I would estimate that it will take 6 months to observe how tokenization progresses, as the CEO of Tukim has already stated that it will go more slowly than most people expect, which is perfectly okay. Furthermore, I believe that the conservative outlook is significantly superior to this one, which is extremely optimistic. However, the fact that these conversations are beginning to continue and that well-known CEOs are beginning to make these statements tells us one thing. The focus is on XRP. The XRP ledger's tokenization is a hot topic, and Ripple is turning into a major catalyst for it all. Furthermore, we go back to October 15th of last year, when Graham Rodford, the same person who stated that there were 30 to 50 trillion on the XRP ledger, was at Ripple swell. Every asset, in our opinion, will be on-chain. Take a look at this. What do you think about the technological side of that and introducing things like CSDs into the picture? How can these things coexist, yet how can you speed things up to gain more advantages? Yes, I'm probably a little more optimistic about the adoption of these assets there. We believe that every asset will be connected to the chain. There are several reasons why this technology is advantageous to the issuer, infrastructure, and investor. It is therefore unavoidable that this will occur. You also brought up central securities depositories, I believe. For those who are unaware, companies like DTCC and Eurocare are essentially the books and records for numerous publicly traded stocks. Oh, and each and every one of them, Euroclearstream, DTCC, are considering tokenization. And yes, everything is going on-chain. These are among of the largest companies in the world, handling enormous sums of money. They are the titans, and if they succeed, everything will fall into place. As I mentioned earlier, if you see one major bank, such as JP Morgan or Citibank of America, going on-chain, then all of the other major players are also going on-chain. And with tokenization, I believe the same thing is taking place. The second we see, one major push around like DTCC, tokenizing on, I don't want to say the XRP ledger, but rather a random public network like Algorand, for instance, right? Every network would be in line if, as we witnessed, the DTCC sent Algorand 10 billion tomorrow. The same is true for XRPL. This is the reason I believe Graham Rodford was so optimistic about the XRPL at between 30 and 50 trillion, because he stated that if one of these players, the DTCC, Euroclear, BlackRock K, or anyone else, begins tokenizing on a public network, it's game over. Immediately, the flood strikes. Having said that, I sincerely hope you all like this video. You are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below if you would like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for additional free stuff. That being said, this has been Nick, guys. Thank you for viewing. Goodbye.